Come have a 5-minute grief talk with me. I'm Tara, a certified grief guide and host of the Life with Grief podcast, and a girl who lost both of her parents to cancer within 6 months of each other. Have you ever looked around you as you're grieving and thought, everyone else seems to be totally fine, except for me? Like the world just keeps spinning around you while you are still standing in the wreckage. Let's quickly talk about how isolating it feels when it feels like other people move on faster. Perhaps friends stop checking in after X number of weeks. Family members maybe are just completely ignoring it or not wanting to talk about the person who died if that's the situation because it is just too hard or too painful. Life resumes, people go back to work, the list goes on. Meanwhile, we are just here, grieving, still very much stuck in it. But I think this is a really important opportunity to reflect on how grief moves at wildly different paces for each one of us. There's no timeline here. Grief lives quietly under the surface for so many of us. And just because others aren't showing it doesn't mean they're not feeling it. Some people might need more distraction or work or whatever it is because that's the only way they know how to cope. That's the only way that they can keep their head above water. Some people might be really good at sitting in their feels in the privacy of their own home, so they're not as outwardly emotional or obvious about it. And yes, some people deflect, and tamp it down so they never have to feel it and never have to deal with it because it's just too hard. But remember, that is the unhealthy way to cope with grief. We don't want to do that. Just friendly reminder here, should it need to be said. I am here to remind you to honor your timeline, not society's timeline. Social media and the opinions and impositions of others are all huge factors here. But we also have to take into account the way that we were raised or the way that we were or weren't taught to show our grief or cope with our grief. Because of that, we all might have different comfortabilities with it. I always say you can't expect yourself from other people. That is a sad reality of this whole grief thing. But also remember this, your grief is sacred to you and no one will ever mourn that loss the same way you do. Even if it's the same on paper, like two siblings losing the same parent, for example. Your individuals, your relationship with that parent was individual and unique, and we all wear our loss differently. My hope in saying that is that it takes a little bit of pressure off of you today. It's okay if you're not where everyone else is. You're not behind. You are having a painfully human experience. One thing I've learned as a grief guide and host of a grief podcast and as a griever myself is that the sooner we release that pressure or any expectations to live according to anyone's timelines or anyone's opinions on how we should or shouldn't do our grief, the more we can grieve in a way that is actually impactful and actually helpful to us, that is done in a healthy way, and navigate life after loss in peace and in alignment with our most highest self and what we need. Thank you so much for joining me in this quick grief talk, and I'll see you in the next one.